We were a pro art program, so we opened our doors to all kids throughout the city. We began hiring emerging and established artists, and we created the Mural Arts Advocates. And I want to acknowledge our former and wonderful board chair, Joe Goldblum, and his wonderful wife, Jane, who are here tonight. Can we have a round of applause? I adore them. Graffiti murals were concentrated in North and West Philly, but gradually other neighborhoods across the city began requesting murals, and we did our best to respond. In 2003, under Mayor John Street, we became part of the Division of Social Services, where the visionary Estelle Richmond took us under her wing, and she made us part of the Division of Social Services, and where she believed in an integrated model of government and believed that art should be part of how big departments do business. It was extraordinary. We started working with kids who are truant and delinquent and working in prisons, working with the Department of Behavioral Health, the Department of Human Services. This work brought us back to our roots with the Anti-Graffiti Network. But now, as the Mural Arts Program, we could use art in the most catalytic way. Fast forward to the last 8 years that have brought exponential growth as we've partnered with city government to advance their civic agenda. We've also challenged ourselves to expand the boundaries of our practice. Over and over, we ask ourselves, what is muralism in the 21st century? It started when Mi Jin Yoon brought glowing orbs to the Schuylkill River. Mi Jin Yoon is from MIT, reviving the riverbank as a destination. In 2010, we worked with Stephen Powers to do a series of 50 murals that you can only see from the L train as you zoom through West Philadelphia, all about love. And then we worked with Berlin-based artist Katerina Grossa, who did 7 miles of color along the Amtrak corridor, which was so poetic. This past fall, in addition to doing a giant mural connected to the Pope's visit that he painted and signed, yay, we produced a major public art exhibition called Open Source, the city's biggest site-specific exhibition of public art to date. We commissioned 13 extraordinary artists for this exhibition, many of them known internationally. And why were they so eager to participate with us? Because many artists want an opportunity to make their mark on a city in a way that goes beyond mere aesthetics. It is about social impact. And they knew if they came to the Mural Arts Program, it was the right place where they could do just that. After 30 years of anti-graffiti and mural arts, our work has grown in scale and scope and complexity. Our partners have grown from a small group of neighbors to whole city departments and transit systems, to business leaders, to nonprofit agencies and cities, quite frankly, across the United States and the globe. We have expanded from merely painting on walls to seeing our work as community-based public art. We use art as a means of innovation and intervention in schools, in shelters, in prisons, in provider agencies, in family court and commercial corridors. And yet, in spite of all this growth, and it has grown, some things absolutely remain unchanged from those early days. At the heart of our work is our deep belief that art can ignite change. Change in people, in places, communities, and institutions. I witness these transformations daily. And what do they look like? Some years back, we started the Porch Light program. Porch Light program is an intervention. It is a program that uses art to overcome the stigma of mental health issues and connects people back to themselves and their community and their family. When we worked at a methadone clinic at 4th and Berks, we took over the basement, turned it into an artist studio, and 1,200 people in recovery worked on this glorious mural. And when I would make site visits, people would follow me to my car and say, I no longer feel like an addict. I feel like an artist. And that has extraordinary power. We also work with people who have come to this country. People from Burma, Bhutan, and Nepal. People from Cambodia. People who leave war-torn countries and come to Philadelphia. People who have experienced great trauma in their lives. And now we have a hub-based practice where we take over empty storefronts. And in 8th and Snyder, we have a storefront. It was empty and filled with trash. We're like, let's just change it. Let's turn it into a center. And there we offer everything from ESL to social services to cooking, sewing, dance, painting, mural making. The sky is the limit. We've tapped into a community of women who are extraordinary weavers and just got a grant from the NEA to support their efforts. And artist Shira Walensky, who helped design this program, is doing beautiful murals all about their traditions. In our schools, we're doing more than ever because you know what? Every young person in the city of Philadelphia deserves to have art in their life, and that should be non-negotiable. Through partnerships with public schools and charter schools, we offer after-school programs, go during the summer, and now we work during the school day to integrate math and science with art. We serve about 1,200 young people every year. 100% of the kids in our advanced programs graduate from high school, yay! And 85% are moving on to higher education. I love that. And this is project-based learning. We want to equip our students with learnings and skills because we want them to know they're going to be the next generation of thought leaders. Finally, I would be remiss if I didn't mention our restorative justice work. We work at Graterford Prison, we work in the Philadelphia prisons, and we have this incredible program, and I want to acknowledge Robin Buseman, who leads our restorative justice program, and everybody in the field, Devon Williams, everybody, so could you stand up? Our Guild program provides a space for people who are re-entering society and young adults on probation and puts them to work beautifying our city. So Robin and her team are not just learning things, they are now role models, and they are reclaiming and beautifying civic spaces in the city of Philadelphia. The city of Philadelphia has so many small rec centers that are not going to be fixed up. Maybe with this bond they will. Let's hope. But they're there. They're in neighborhoods, and they are bereft. Sad places. And this team makes them beautiful. And people say, oh my God, it's magic. I'm like, this is not magic. This is about mustering the social and political will to strike with surgical precision and make a difference in people's lives, both on an individual basis and for the community. It makes my heart sing to see the work they do, and it bears out in statistics. People say, well, Jane, what's the impact? Do you measure this? Is there data? Let me tell you the data. We have a 10% recidivism rate, unlike the 35% rate for the state or the 65% rate nationally, and a high percentage of people in our program move on to jobs. So we continue to work to give people a voice and to offer them resources and opportunities to make an imprint on how they see themselves, their communities, in the city. I feel so privileged, honored, and humbled to be able to do this work. And interestingly, never once have I lost the excitement that I felt painting my first mural. And I would be disingenuous if I didn't say there were moments of difficulty, complexity, and stress. But the work continues to make me feel alive and hopeful, inspired every day by my wonderful co-workers. I have some wonderful co-workers here, Caitlin, Amy, Robin. Could you stand, please? I work with a great, extraordinary team of people. I'm inspired by my co-workers, but also really inspired by the resilient community leaders and by the many faces I see that light up during thrilling moments of collaboration and creativity. You know, Philadelphia is a wonderful city. It's growing and thriving in many significant ways. But like many cities across the United States, we grapple with very complicated issues related to public safety, education, income disparity. At the same time, we see people eager and hungry for change. We see optimism, we see love, we see faith, and we see a hunger for beauty, art, and innovation. A new cohort of young leaders are emerging to carry the torch and lead our city in new directions. And so I am more hopeful than ever that we can have an approach to our city that embraces change but values equity. That we can have a city that is healthy, creative, and a cooperative place for all to live. And I am more certain than ever, after all these years of doing this work, that art, yes, art, something that is often marginalized, can play an essential role in this movement. To get there, I believe we need to follow Pearl Buck's lead. We need to be bold and fearless and determined. We need to have respect for our diversity, but we need to lift up our commonality. Because as she knew all too well, the search for social justice goes on. In closing, I'd like to share a quote from the poet Adrienne Rich. What would it mean to live in a city whose people were changing each other's despair into hope? And Adrienne Rich answers. She says, you yourself must change it. And she is right. I believe this is both the challenge and the opportunity of our times, to change each other's despair into hope. And I believe that each of us has the responsibility and the capacity, just like Pearl Buck, to respond and to remain as ever undaunted in that response. Thank you. Thank you, Pearl S. Buck. You guys are awesome and such wonderful people. I love them. I also want to thank my wonderful husband, Tony Horizon, who supported me for so long. He's wonderful. Thank you, everyone. This is a wonderful organization, and I feel deeply humbled.
We are very pleased to present to Jane a bronze Pearl Buck statue, our Woman of Influence Award, sculpted by Chris Dunham, a local sculptor. A Pearl S. Buck autographed, signed, and numbered copy of The Good Earth. A beautiful silver and pearl bracelet made by local artist Sherry Tinsman. A proclamation from the Bucks County Commissioners claiming today Jane Golden Day throughout the county. From the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, thanks to our state congressman, state senator, Chuck McElhenney, and also a congressional record from our congressman, Michael Fitzpatrick.
And one other thank you. I just want to thank the wonderful Lomax family. I know they're here and I love them. Thank you.